All right, I'm here to ask you today if you walk your talk. Do you? Or do you do as you're told? It's so hard to know how to finagle your way through life. It's confusing. It's very confusing, especially when you're a kid. But I'm going to tell you, if you don't walk your talk, you're going to be very, very disappointed, resentful, and you're going to go through life thinking you gave up who you did because you gave up who you are because you did. Because you did. You really did give up who you were. The program that's defined is to make everybody a little robot, do the same things, behave the same way. But the critical thinkers, the ones who take it to the top, look at the top. What do you see? You see Bill Gates, you see Elon Musk, you see Trump. You see people who think on their own, who make their own decisions. Now, does that get you by good in school? No. Most people who are successful in life, and I'm not talking about money, because I consider myself successful. I don't have money. Money was not my goal. It never was my goal. It was my parents' goal for me. Stability for me. All the things that they wanted. It wasn't what I wanted. My walk was to be in a rural area, and my talk was to be helpful to people. I was a caregiver for my mother from the age of 5 until I left home at 16. And I became a waitress, and I loved it. I loved it. I didn't like being called just a waitress, because there's a big difference. If you have somebody who picks up your garbage and does it in a professional manner, that's a whole different than the one that just throws it in there and has no interest at all in what's going on in the environment or how it looks or anything. You're not just anything unless that's what you choose to be. If you choose to do the very best you can in your job and do it in a way that reflects who you are, you've walked your talk. Whatever the job is, doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. But that's not what you're designed to do. You're not designed to critically think. That's the catch. As far as I'm concerned, the job of your parents, because after all, your parents are your first teachers, the job of your parents is to teach you how to be a critical thinker, to expand your mind into whatever direction you have to do what you have a passion for, in the way that you have a passion for it, not in the way they see it. And I feel the same way about teachers. A teacher's job is to teach you to be a critical thinker. And that way, you can pick the job you want, do the work you want, make money or not make money, I don't know. It depends on what you go into and what you do with it. But what's important, what's really important in the world, is that you think critically. And what we don't get is that. My husband talks about his grandfather who he ate exactly the same thing every morning. He went to exactly the same factory his entire life. Now, let's get real about this. This is the early 1900s. Life has changed a lot. And I know no one who stays with one job for their entire life. Now, I know people, older folks who've done that, gotten the gold watch and walked away. Not locally, not local people. Now, I don't mean local in where they live, but people who are younger than me and have a job today And it's probably their 7th or 8th job. Because at first, 18 to 35, you're trying to figure out life. I don't care whether you go to college and get a degree and get a job in the field you think you like. You're still trying to figure out life. You're not sure who you are. And I read just recently that at age 60, there's another major transition, which I've seen in 2 of my kids, of trying to figure out who they are and how they fit in to the whole process of the world. And they're angry. One of the things they do is they're angry because it's hard. It's hard to figure that out. It's frustrating. It's stressful. So what's your walk? What did you want to do in your life? How did you want to run your life? What kind of life did you want to have? Now, I have a very different life than my parents. I've always wanted a very different life than what my parents had. My father was military and they moved constantly. It was just, my entire childhood is just a blur. No long-term friendships, no relatives. It's a blur. All I wanted was to put down roots. I just wanted to, traveling, I look back on it and I go, wow, it's great, because somebody says they live in Pennsylvania, or they live in Washington State, or they say they live in Southern California. I've been there. I've got a complete picture of what they're talking about. No problem. Even if somebody says they live in London, I got that too. Yep. Or Ecuador, because that's where I live now. Or Mexico, because that's where I've lived. And I've traveled through the whole from the middle of Mexico north by bus. So I've seen so much. And that is an advantage. But yet, here in Ecuador, I have a young man who's worked for us for about 4 or 5 years. Started out way part-time. He's still part-time, but he's, I've got to know him. He's like a grandchild. Just love him to death. And I ask him questions. And when he has a party, 30 people show up that are just family members. So his walk is that he's really good with plants. He's also good with electricity and building and wood. But he does that because that's what everybody else does. What did he want to do? He wanted to be an airline pilot. Because I asked him once. He wanted to be an airline pilot. But when you're an orphan, his mother died in a car wreck when he was 5, and his father died in a car wreck when he was 7. When you're an orphaned kid in Ecuador, developing country, you don't get to be an airline pilot. But he has picked up what about this world he enjoys. He loves working with plants, and he's so good at it. And there seems to be an incredible contentment with him because of the family. And that's something we don't have in the United States. My impression from what I've seen and heard, they don't have it in Europe either. People are moving around all the time, different jobs, different involvements. And with the migration now too, you've got a lot of people changing where they come from. So they're probably not walking their talk. So think about it. Whatever you say you want to do, is that what you do? Are you on that path? Are you following it? I am so glad that I was so clear in my mind about what I wanted for retirement. I really wanted to farm, not on a big scale. Just now, of course, when you get to a certain age, you can't physically do it, but you can look at it. You can say to somebody, "Hey, would you plant some papayas over there? How about some blueberries over here? And how about that kind of thing?" I see it in a friend of mine. It's doing the same thing. Just having things growing around. He's a little bit older than I am, I think. Yeah, I think he and his wife are both a little older than I am. So he just does the same thing. He says, makes me happy. And I'm that way. Makes me happy. And I don't have to own it. That's another thing that we really need to think about very, very seriously. Indigenous people say, how do you own the air? How do you own the water? How do you own the breeze that goes through the tree next door? Just because tree's on his land, it's his? Does that make any difference? You got me down a whole rabbit hole, because I want to believe that we all should take care of the earth as though it belongs to all of us. And so there's this feeling when I walk on this land, it doesn't matter that I don't have the title. What matters is I have the love from the plants and the clear air and the gorgeous water. So walk your talk. Think about what it is that you want in your life, and then look at your life and say, am I doing what I want to do? Because if you're not, then just do it. I've made 2 videos so far that say that. Just do it. Because when I've done it, it's always made so. That wasn't easy. Don't let me get you to thinking if you just do what you want to do, it's going to be easy, because it's not. There's nothing's really easy in life. Nothing's worth having that's easy in life. But you might do it, and you might find the joy that you don't have right now. And you might be able to look back like I do. Every day I think about all these wonderful memories that I have of the different things that I've done in my life, and the different things I've figured out why I did them in my life, and why I screwed up so badly before I was 35. Because I really didn't have a handle on the fact that we reflect after we leave home what we learned at home. That's where we go. My mother was an alcoholic. My father had PTSD. I took those traits that I learned were normal and expected them in the rest of my life. That's what I looked for in other people. Mistake? Yeah, that was a big mistake. But now I understand it. And now I come on these videos to tell you that, so you don't make the same mistake. I have a school where I can talk to you about anything you want, if you'd like. It's free. Come. SKOOL. I hope to put it at the end of this video if everything works out okay with my editing. And you can also leave a comment. But either way, walk your talk. Thanks.